Well, hello there. Time for your latest news update. When you think of the United Kingdom, rainy, foggy weather might come to mind, but not right now. It is really hot weather they are bracing for. Their first ever extreme heat warning is in effect for large swaths of England. The so-called red alert is slated for Monday and Tuesday, with temperatures reaching up to possibly a record 40 degrees. And already services are being disrupted, some medical appointments canceled, some schools closed, and there's concern about trains being delayed because of warped rails. Meanwhile, more than 1,000 people are said to have died in Spain and Portugal from extreme heat so far. Proposals out of Ottawa today with the goal of driving down emissions from the oil and gas sector. The federal Liberals putting forth a new discussion paper which outlines reducing that sector's emissions by almost 40% by the end of this decade. Ottawa will take feedback on the plan until late September and hopes to unveil a finalized plan early next year. Alberta resident Pat King granted bail in Ottawa, one of the key figures in the freedom protests earlier this year. King spent 5 months in jail. He's been told to return to Alberta and have no contact with other protest organizers. Word comes now of a crackdown of illegal workers at a number of Rocky Mountain hotels. More than 30 staff were rounded up at the Lake Louise Hotel alone last week, with deportation in the works. A spokeswoman with the Fairmont Hotels and Resorts telling the Calgary Herald the workers were hired through a third-party provider and were hired because of a severe ongoing shortage of hospitality staff in the region. Services at some hotels already being affected. How about that stampede? Big numbers through the gates this year. 1.2 million expected to be the final total. Not quite the record, though. That was set in 2012 with 1.4 million. Not a good weekend for chuck wagon driver Cody Risdale. Was one of the people hit by an impaired driver in Calgary. They were walking on a sidewalk outside a bar on Saturday. 5 other people were also struck. Cody's wife Katrina says he suffered serious injuries. The impaired driver, according to police, was arrested at the scene. One person in hospital after an officer-related shooting in Calgary last night. Police say patrol members fired their weapons after responding to a home in the city's northeast. An unknown man with a weapon, said to be in somebody's backyard, and was trying to get inside. But fortunately, nobody inside was injured. The mayor of Toronto is sounding out his frustration after a rash of shootings in that city on the weekend. John Tory says the city will do everything it can to combat gun violence. One man was killed after shots were fired outside Scotiabank Arena. Happened while people were leaving a Blue Jays game. Then just a few hours later, another shooting at a nightclub. 2 people were shot and have serious injuries. Well, let's introduce you now to 12-year-old Miriam Tanis, the nation's youngest recipient of a total artificial heart. Miriam was born with 2 forms of heart disease, and at the age of 3 years old, she had open heart surgery, and at age 7, a heart transplant. But then last year, she suffered a cardiac arrest, and that led doctors to place inside her a total artificial heart, which, unlike other devices, essentially replaces an entire human heart. It's only been used on 58 people in the country so far and barely fit inside Miriam. But a year following the procedure, her doctors say she should be able to do anything most other kids can do, including how she currently swims 4 times a week. Her mother calls her survival magical, and we have to agree. And that's your news to now. I'm Darren Rathwell. You have a great day.